Hi, welcome to the 10-Minute Parent. My name is Pastor Don Boldt, and I'll be your teacher for the next 5 to 10 minutes as we take a look at what does the Bible teach us about raising our children for Him. And today we're going to be taking a look at something that I just call battlegrounds and learning opportunities. And again, it's one of these kind of global things that you see in the Scripture. Rather than trying to get us focused in on particular verses, I want you to take a look at just the Bible as you read it and start to understand this. God doesn't do everything all at once. Right? That's why He created time, so He could stretch it out and put it in different places. If you think about that, God would be quite capable of just making all of history happen in like this, but He doesn't. He spreads it out. Okay, why? Because, well, frankly, because we're very finite. Okay, we are very limited as people, and so everything doesn't happen all at once in our lives. If somebody's going to teach you something, they teach you a little bit here, a little bit there. Isaiah tells us that that's particularly how you teach a child is line upon line, verse upon verse, here a little, there a little. That this is how these things are done. There are times in the lives of our children where it can get kind of overwhelming. If you have a larger family, sometimes it can get overwhelming just by the multiplication of all the different things that you're trying to accomplish with the different children that you have. And I do want to encourage you with that. I used to have a little prayer blotter. Just a big, one of those great big pads that you put on top of your desk, and I put columns on it, and I would list each person in my life's name that either was above me in authority, or with me in authority, or under my authority, and I would just write down the particular things that I was praying for them, and the things I was praying for them were the things that I was hoping to see accomplished in that relationship. And so it's kind of a way of just keeping yourself on task a little bit, and also just making sure that you're not just trying to do this by yourself, but you are trusting God and seeking His authority, His power to accomplish the things that you have to accomplish. But to take a look and realize that as a parent, you may be aware of 12 things with some child that you're responsible for, and I guess I'm talking to grandparents and teachers as well here, that you may have 12 things. Well, let me ask you a question. If you became aware that anybody in authority in your life was working on you and trying to get you to grow and change in 12 different areas of your life, that'd be overwhelming, all right? And so there has to be a way of deciding what will I work on first, okay? And so I call them battlegrounds and learning opportunities. Why? Well, because some of them are more prone towards conflict in the sense that I may be dealing with a propensity towards rebellion in a child, and rebellion needs to be stopped. You can't fix rebellion, you have to stop it, and that takes a bit of effort. And I see people sometimes trying to, manage rebellion, and it's trying to manage a cockroach and trying to make it not a cockroach. It's a cockroach, okay? Rebellion is rebellion, you got to get rid of it. So there are some that are more like battlegrounds, all right? And we'll talk about them in just a minute. But some are just learning opportunities, things where it's just taken a long time for a child to learn something. Sometimes people come to me and say, I don't know, how long is it going to take this child? I mean, I've told them 10 times. I'm going, 10? My goodness, we're talking hundreds of times probably before you get that, and you're going to be looking for these learning moments, these times when you realize this is a perfect moment to do this. I don't know if you know this, but the Supreme Court, sometimes when they're trying to, give a decision, sometimes a case will come to them, and you think, why didn't they take that case up and render a decision? That's an important thing. Well, it was not a good opportunity. It was not a good opportunity to bring down a clear decision. All right, so they'll push it aside and wait for a better case to come to them. Well, learning opportunities are like that with our children, where there's times where you realize this is just not the opportunity to teach them this. You think, well, I have a child that throws temper tantrums. How do I deal with that in the grocery store? The answer is, for the most part, you really don't. Take them home. Because you may have lost, if you will, at that moment, but you're not going to be successful at dealing with a temper tantrum in a grocery store. So take them home. That's it's that if you can deal with this privately. If you can just leave them lay there on the floor for a half an hour and ignore them if that's the approach you're taking, or discipline it if that's the approach you're taking. Either one is not going to work real well in a grocery store, and we all know that. All right, so you have a child that's disrespectful sometimes, and it's like, how do I deal with this? Well, because at another time when the learning opportunity is there, and where the circumstances are good, I'm going to take that opportunity to teach the thing that I need them to be at another time. And so learning opportunities, learning that I watch for those. When this is a good opportunity for them to learn. It's inconvenient for me to break away from what I'm doing right now, but I know this is a time for them to learn. Something that they've been doing to others just got done to them. Okay, that's a great learning opportunity, isn't it? All right, a lot of things like that. Learning to watch for those opportunities. You think this is a great time for them to understand it. They will understand it better now than at other times. And I'm going to use this time to make sure that I teach them that particular thing, rather than trying to do all of it all at once. All right, battlegrounds a little bit. All right, well, when you're fighting battles, there's a couple of things that you look at. First of all, there's usually more battle fronts, you know, than you can shake a stick at. More that you can do. That you just, you know, how do I address all of this? You look at like World War II, and you know, I mean, the whole world was at war. Okay, they couldn't go and have all of their soldiers fight all the soldiers that were everywhere, and so they had to decide where will the battle fronts be. Okay, two basic principles that you should be aware of. One is that there are what we call must-win battles, things where I cannot lose this with this child. All right, you know, if my child heads off into adulthood not having a particularly neat bedroom, all right, they'll survive, okay? They will survive. They may be successful in life. They may have a few complaints from their husband or wife later in life, but they'll survive that, all right? If they're a liar, I'm sorry, they're not going to survive that. That's a must-win, okay? If I have a child that has anger issues and becomes violent, that's a must-win. I can't let that go. If I have a child that's heading off after immorality, that's a must-win, okay? So must-win battles, you know, recognize them. Recognize that how irritated I feel is not an indication of whether it's a must-win. I mean, I have to look at this in terms of what God says is important and say, well, these are the must-wins. Okay, so you need to understand these are the must-wins, and probably those should be at the top of your prayer list for that child. Secondly, is you look for what's called easy victories. You know, are there some things that are there in front of you that need to be dealt with, that are conflicts, that are problems with this child obeying you in ways where they're directing their will against yours, and what it is that it's like, this is an easy victory. I can settle this thing pretty quickly. You know, I have somebody who is prone towards sneaking a cookie when they shouldn't be. All right, you know, it's close to dinner, and they're slipping in the kitchen and grabbing a cookie. That's a pretty easy one to win. Put the cookie jar where they can't get it. You know, ta-da! You know, I mean, now I haven't necessarily dealt with the whole attitude of the heart, and that's a whole other issue. But I want you to understand that there are times where you can get some of those conflicts out of the way simply. You know, well, my kids are always getting into my stuff. Put a lock on the door. You know, I mean, we'll deal with the attitude of heart thing later. But if that's getting in the way for now, solve it with a barrier. You know, there's things that can be done that are simple, that are easy, quick little victories that you can get. Or maybe it's something that, you know, you try a few times to speak them and it works, you know, and so it's just an easy victory. And then you got that kind of milky middle thing there, which is the stuff that you're just going to be dealing with them throughout the course of their life, you know, things that don't fit into either category, but they're nonetheless battlegrounds. But avoid the mistake of trying to fight all the battles all at once, right? Because two things happen. One, you tend to fail at the battle, and the other part of it is that you become an ogre, you become an oppressor, you become somebody who's constantly crabby, angry, bothered, and conflicting with the children, and you never have any fun, and your kids very quickly are looking for a way to get away from you instead of wanting to be near you so they can grow with you, learn with you, enjoy life together. And with that, I'm going to say God bless you. Thank you so much for continuing to come out and listen to us here at the 10-Minute Parent. God bless you in your efforts in raising your children for the Lord. See you next time.